Discipline is the number one thing. If you're not sleeping well last night, you're not gonna be 100% in the training in the morning, you know. That's why discipline is the most important things. Everybody have same things, gyms, coaches, sparring partners, but who is a discipline more, that guy have more success, you know. It's discipline, it's not about me, it's about it's all about my team, you know. What our coach Abdul Manap give us all his life when he was with us, just discipline, you know, come on time, like focusing, always training, you know, because one of the things, you can come to the training, sleep well in the morning, you can come, and training is beginning, and you still thinking about some business, some other stuff. You're not 100% in the gym, you know. That's why even myself right now, like all like small businesses what I have people who take care, like my older brother, some of the guy, but I don't think about this business. I don't like check how it's working, how it's going, because I have to focusing in training, you know.
Nothing is being left to chance as Islam Makhachev enters the final stretch of preparation for what could become the most significant title defense of his championship career at UFC 330. Every training session has a clear purpose, every adjustment is carefully planned, and every weakness is being addressed before fight night arrives. With one of the toughest tests of his reign waiting inside the Octagon, the champion is building toward this matchup with complete focus. His goal is simple: arrive at UFC 330 in the best form of his career and prove once again why he sits at the top of the sport.
Islam is ready. He's ready to perform. I've never actually seen him this good. You know, all the coaches had a important role in preparation for this camp, and you know, he's ready to go. I love the way he is right now. You know, his body, mental, physical, everything, game plan, everything is intact. We have Habib back cornering him, so I'm very, very happy about that, because that just means we're going to have the best corner, we have the best fighter, we're going to have the best win.
Ислам Макхачев, где-то даже как-то я говорил, и Хавьер Мендес говорил, это универсальный боец. Многие, честно говоря, недооценивают. Все говорят о его борьбе. Ну, мое мнение, что он еще до конца не раскрыл свою стойку. Даже, в принципе, это и хорошо. Он может многих удивить. Даже смотрю я в интервью, многие говорят, анализ делают его стойки, о его ударной технике. Мое мнение, как тренер по ударной технике, он еще до конца не раскрыл свой потенциал. И в этом плане, да, он универсальный боец. И я жду того боя, где он себя покажет в этом плане.
Приехал Хабиб тоже на сборы, чуть нарушил начало сборов, вообще без никакой акклиматизации. Мы сразу начали пахать.
All week I was pushing them. I leave weekend. I just come back for next 5 days. For me it's gonna be fun day. For them it's gonna be very hard days.
Ну, можно сказать, с чистой совестью. Больше 2 недель я отпахал. Только специально подготовительный этап был. Больше работали над выносливостью, можно сказать, так грубо говоря. Делали также спарринги, все так же, но некоторые элементы добавили. Там бег был у нас, еще некоторые задания, чтобы увеличить вообще выносливость.
Обычно мы, когда на бой готовимся, мы проходим 3 этапа. Это базовый этап, специально подготовительный этап и уже подводящий этап. Это 3 совершенно разные работы. А сейчас мы совместили базовый и специально подготовительный. То есть это функциональная работа 2 раза в неделю и специально беговая тоже 2 раза в неделю. Вот на горках то, что мы делали максимальную лактатную мощность, мы ее добавили с Исламом, когда несколько раз срезы. То есть каждый раз мы, когда начинаем подготовку, мы делаем разные срезы, и вот все эти разные срезы есть на бумаге. Вот этот дневник, который я всегда с собой ношу, Ислам, который так любит. Вот, там все его цифры, ну, цифры не обманешь, и есть прогрессия. Там, где нет прогрессии, мы добавляем из этого.
Приехали на арену, начался главный карт, еще осталось 4 боя до выхода Ислама. Настроение хорошее, боевое. Вот сейчас плавно как раз-таки подступает это волнение, которое ты не ощущаешь. Ну, лично у меня такие бывают эмоции. Весь тренировочный кемп, вообще с самого начала, как объявили этот бой, ты вроде уверен, вроде чувствуешь, и хорошо все идет. Но в любом случае это бои, и в них всегда может случиться все, что угодно. Поэтому уже в день самого боя, за час до выхода, там, за 10-15 минут волнение подступает.
Guiding the entire process is former UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov, whose disciplined approach continues to shape one of the most respected training camps in mixed martial arts. While clips from camp have generated excitement across the MMA world, the biggest developments have come from longtime coach Javier Mendez. He has started revealing how the team intends to approach the dangerous Ian Garry, offering a closer look at the strategy behind the scenes. According to Mendez, the confidence surrounding Makhachev isn't based on hype. It comes from months of careful preparation, detailed planning, and unwavering belief in the champion's abilities.
What the most thoughtful question is, I'm curious, if you were training Ian Garry for this exercise, what are you focused on in training camp, knowing you're fighting a guy that is just so well versed at everything? And what are your thoughts about Ian's chances?
Look, well, first off, I mean, obviously you got to get the wrestling squared away, which isn't easy to do because the guy's at a super high level, but there is a big size discrepancy, Ken. You know what I mean? Like he is long and lanky. I think he's awkward. You know, he's not like the most technically sound. And I think that actually is going to give Islam trouble, you know, because I think he's just a little quirky with everything. And he's got the size, I think, to give this guy trouble. He's big. Ian Garry's a big kid. This is a big 170-pounder. So I'm really curious to see how it plays out. But Islam is so squared away everywhere, and he's dedicated. You know, puts the time in with training and all that stuff. So I think it's a great matchup. I think it's a really, really good matchup.
I've seen stuff. Ian's not the heaviest 170-pounder either. Like, I think he fought in California where they release your weights for the fight night. I've seen one where I think he only gained like 11 pounds. Like, he was like 181 in the back. Like, I was like 198 like my last fight in the back. You know, like some of us 70, like we get big, and he's just not. And I'm not saying that means a whole lot, but it definitely means something. You know, so yeah, he is tall. He is quote unquote long, but yeah, I don't think Islam's going to have too hard of a time.
Yeah, should be interesting. Now, I got to ask you about this, and I do realize you guys have the same manager, but what did you make of Gary's comments? He's getting a lot of backlash for some of the stuff he said. I think women should rule the world. I cried during Disney movies. I didn't like the stuff about Neil Magny. I know you trained with Neil before, but I think that whole thing of, you know, Magny made a bad analogy. Neil Magny's not a bad guy. He's not a bad father. I don't like that stuff as a fellow father myself when I heard him kind of bring that up again. But just your overall thoughts on Gary's, interview, which didn't really talk much about the fight and more about other stuff.
Well, I remember when that happened, he put Neil, like I know Neil, I've trained with Neil multiple times. Neil's a great guy, and he put Neil in a bad spot, saying and that's not what Neil meant. And for him to do that, and I know Neil went on to have a divorce, and I'm pretty sure that came up.
It did come up in and then he almost, he was trying to get custody of his kids. He told me about it, and Neil's a much nicer guy than I would be about how he responded to that whole thing, but I would have been furious if that happened.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I've wanted to fight Ian ever since that happened. I'm just not the biggest fan of him. Speaking of, maybe he might get, if he loses super quick in a couple of weeks, maybe he'll want to turn around quick, and maybe that'll be a fight I can get. But yeah, the whole interview was him talking about the women. Like, he just, I don't know if his wife...
Javier Mendez explained that this move to the welterweight division was never a last-minute decision. The idea had been discussed long before Makhachev completed his latest lightweight title defense, with the champion already setting his sights on becoming a two-division title holder. Once that vision became the team's priority, every stage of training was designed around succeeding at 170 pounds. Working alongside Russian coach Sifula Magomedov, Makhachev developed additional strength, improved his conditioning, and adapted his body to compete against naturally larger opponents. Throughout the process, the team remained determined to preserve the speed, precision, and technical excellence that have defined his rise to the top of the UFC.
Islam Makhachev returning to the cage there. I just want you to take us back to when he decided to commit to 170 and make that move to welterweight. As a coach, how do you structure his training camp differently to ensure that he's ready to perform and perform well at that weight?
When Islam was defending his title for the last time as a lightweight, he told me, Coach, my goal is to, once I become successful with this last title, because I would have broken the title defenses for lightweight, I want to go up to welterweight. What do you think? I want to do a double champ like everybody else. I want to go for legacy fights. I said, that's fantastic. So what he did from that point, once he won his title, his mind was set on what he wanted to do. So he got with his coach up in Russia, Saif Safula, who's a big part of helping him maintain his body, getting it bigger. So he went to work. Saif is a great coach.
Mendez also provided new insight into how the camp is preparing for Ian Machado Garry's distinctive fighting style. Rather than staying at the American Kickboxing Academy, the team relocated to Nick Catoni MMA in New Jersey to remain closer to the event and eliminate unnecessary distractions before fight week. Although the coaches admit it's nearly impossible to find someone who perfectly duplicates Garry's movement and striking style, they believe they've found the ideal alternative. Bellator champion Usman Nurmagomedov has taken on the role of Makhachev's primary sparring partner, bringing elite speed, outstanding accuracy, and exceptional timing into every session. While his physical build differs from Garry's, the coaching staff believes those technical qualities are exactly what the champion needs to sharpen his reactions before stepping into the cage.
Where's some of the guys that you're putting him with, just to get that feel for, this opponent that he's going to be facing, Machado Garry? Like, is there somebody in camp that you've identified that best suits that kind of style that he's going to be facing?
Unfortunately, we don't have anybody, and we're at Nick Catone's MMA in New Jersey, in Brick, New Jersey. So this is where the training camp's taking place. I travel wherever they go, I go. So it's no longer AKA. If it is AKA, if the fight's close to AKA, we'll be at AKA. But right now the fights have been closer to these areas. So having somebody like Ian Machado, to be honest with you, we don't have anybody at our disposal that's that good. But we do have who I happen to believe is the number one lightweight in the world, which is Usman, as a main sparring partner. So that was fantastic. And it's not for the height difference, because obviously, they're different. They're not the same. But the timing, that's very, very important. And the timing is crucial, and that's what Usman brings to the table.
According to Javier Mendez, physical measurements alone do not determine success in preparation. Matching Ian Machado Garry's height is far less important than recreating the rhythm, timing, and instincts that make him such a difficult opponent. That is why Usman Nurmagomedov has become such an important piece of this camp. His speed, technical awareness, and ability to create realistic fight scenarios have given Makhachev the type of high-level work needed before UFC 330. Looking beyond this championship bout, Mendez believes another successful title defense would add even more weight to Makhachev's growing legacy. While acknowledging his close relationship with the champion, he argued that a convincing victory would further establish Islam among the greatest fighters of his generation. He praised not only Makhachev's technical skills but also his remarkable composure, natural decision-making, and elite fight intelligence. Mendez credited the foundation built by the late Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, together with Khabib and the rest of the coaching team, while emphasizing that some qualities simply cannot be developed through training alone. Former UFC welterweight champion Georges St-Pierre also believes the matchup favors Makhachev. If asked to predict the outcome, St-Pierre says he sees more opportunities for the reigning champion to win. At the same time, he cautions fans against overlooking Ian Machado Garry, describing him as a dangerous striker with excellent athleticism, effective distance management, and steadily improving grappling skills. In St-Pierre's view, Garry's best chance comes from keeping the fight standing for as long as possible while avoiding prolonged wrestling exchanges. Even with those advantages, he still considers Makhachev the sport's premier pound-for-pound competitor. Coach Tim Welch shares a similar level of respect for the challenger. He believes Garry's height, movement, and ability to control range could create difficult moments throughout the contest. Welch also pointed out that Khabib Nurmagomedov has publicly recognized Garry as a legitimate threat, proving the champions team is approaching this fight with complete seriousness rather than overconfidence. UFC welterweight contender Sean Brady, however, expects Makhachev's wrestling to become the deciding factor. Brady believes Garry's size may help him early in the fight, especially since he'll be among the tallest opponents Islam has faced. Still, he questions whether the Irish contender has the physical strength or stopping power necessary to consistently prevent Makhachev from closing the distance. Brady also noted that Garry's reach is relatively modest for someone of his height, making it easier for the champion to execute his takedown game. His prediction is a dominant wrestling display that eventually leads to a submission finish. Former title challenger Kenny Florian offered an even deeper tactical analysis. He described Garry's height, long-range striking, and intelligent use of the jab as one of the more interesting stylistic challenges Makhachev has encountered in recent years. Florian expects the champion to invest early in body attacks and leg kicks before gradually working his way into grappling range. He also explained that taller fighters often become vulnerable during level changes, creating opportunities for elite wrestlers to secure takedowns. Rather than expecting an early finish, Florian predicts Makhachev will slowly break Garry down with constant pressure, disciplined positioning, and relentless control over 5 rounds. Veteran coach Ray Longo agrees that Garry's path to victory depends on refusing to accept prolonged grappling exchanges. In his opinion, the challenger must repeatedly return to his feet after every takedown attempt, forcing Makhachev to work continuously and preventing the champion from settling into dominant positions. Constant movement and persistence, Longo believes, give Garry his strongest opportunity to remain competitive. MMA journalist James Lynch also leans toward Makhachev, but expects a much closer contest than many predictions suggest. Instead of forecasting a submission or knockout, Lynch believes the champion could earn a competitive decision after 5 hard-fought rounds. He points to Garry's durability and defensive grappling as reasons why a finish may be difficult to secure, even against one of the UFC's most complete champions. Everything is now in place for one of the year's most compelling championship matchups. Months of preparation, tactical adjustments, and elite-level coaching will soon be tested under the brightest lights at UFC 330. Will Islam Makhachev's calculated approach lead to another successful title defense, or can Ian Machado Garry deliver the biggest upset of his career? Share your prediction below, and don't forget to subscribe for more MMA news, fight analysis, and in-depth championship coverage.